Hey guys, our Decline here, Average Picker. So we're going to get back to picking soon, I promise, but I just finished up sort of some cutting and I thought this was interesting enough to show you. So, and I'm losing pins. So we've got a core and we cut it in half. And so I'm going to get these pins lined up back in here and we will come right back. Now I do want to show you this real quick because this is the way this lock was. In other words, the chambers pretty much already just hollowed out and connected to each other when I cut it. So that, you're going to have to kind of take that in consideration as we take a look at this. Okay, so this was a pretty just standard quick keyway. So wide open, there's only 2 bits of warding in there. To give you sort of an idea, you'd be looking at something pretty similar to this. In this particular lock, though, the lock's a little bit smaller around, so this warding bit is actually sitting down a little bit lower. And just to put you on some orientation with this, let me scoot the camera back here. You're looking at this being the keyway side here, and this being the keyway side over here. So we took it apart and just kind of flipped them. And I put the pins in it. And these are, or they should be, 99% sure, these are the driver pins for this particular lock. And one reason I thought this was interesting was you can see kind of what happens. It can give us an idea of when you go in and kind of pick selection, right? So, spilled them again. Let's reset. Okay, so this worked way better in practice when I wasn't trying to straddle the camera. But again, so here we go. So we've got our keyway over here, we've got our keyway over here. This part down here, that's our lowest bit of warding. In that case, it would be like this. And on this one down here, this is our upper bit of warding. So that would be this piece here. Now, in a wide open keyway like this, you can almost kind of afford to use any pick you want because you don't have to be too careful about getting in there. And at least what I tend to do is I tend to use something fairly large on these kind of keyways like this DeForest, just because it lets me go from the bottom of the lock and snake all the way up in there. But because of the high lift already on it, it pretty much positions that piece right really close to the pins, almost as if you're using something a little more shallow. So, but I just thought this would be kind of interesting. So when your pick comes in, you can see, and in this case, we're using a, I believe this is the Tron, yeah. And you can see it gets in there fairly safely without banging into a lot of the pins. Now these are the original pins. I don't know if this is the original bitting or not. I don't think it is. I did just kind of plop them in here. Similarly, if we take something like the full dent, you can kind of see, you can kind of start to get an idea. Well, let me see what's going on now. Okay, well this was just a video that was not meant to be, huh? A lot of little interruptions. So anyway, you can see the pick comes in this case, the full dent. It's putting it much closer to the pins. Oh crap, hold on. Okay, now this one is going to be a bit trickier for me to show because I'm not left-handed. And so it's very hard for me to hold the pick steady. But so if we tried to come in on the top piece of warding, right? So we're talking about if we decided we were going to actually try to pick coming in from up here. You can see pretty quickly, I mean, we'd have to steepen our angle in order to get under those pins, but you can see pretty quickly what starts happening as we start lifting. We're having to readjust the pick, and we're coming really into nudging, especially as we get into the back, and kind of overlifting those pins. If we tried something really absurd, like coming in with the deforest from that top too, you can see pretty readily it's just going to start jamming up and not really getting anywhere. So anyway, this was I just thought this would be kind of neat to do a quick little video on. I may hang on to this piece and do something a little more put together, scripted. I don't really tend to script, but you know what I mean. Something a little more organized with it later. But I just thought it was a neat kind of way to see what's happening when your pick goes in, as far as the lifts and stuff that were going to be needed. Now, like these wide open keyways, it's fairly easy because you can almost pull from any pick you want. And make it work, you know, in something like that. The pick selection is not so important. But yeah, and in case you were wondering, this was actually, this was a testing of an idea for a 4-pin challenge lock. I started wondering, what if I just cut the core in half with the 4 pins? That would make it a little bit weird tensioning, because when you go to tension, you'd be kind of pushing one piece around a little bit more. And this was based off, I want to say it was Talon, but I don't think it was him. There's another picker, I'll try to ID him later, but he had a broken lock. It was a padlock that had sat outside or something for ages, and it had actually split like this, and that kind of gave me the idea that might be a neat core modification to experiment with. But anyway, guys, very quick little video looking at that, and yeah, so there you go. Like I said, though, we'll probably revisit this more in a more put together way. All right, have a good one.